Uh, We are live right now. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my gosh. Nope, we are not we are not streaming from Lula TV as I thought that we would. We are streaming on Restream, but that's okay. As long as we're streaming. Hi everybody. I am still trying to figure out this multi-streaming service. I thought I was doing it on another service. Now we're doing it. Anyway, hello. Oh my goodness. Um, yeah, India, why don't you tell the people what we are doing here today?
Okay, well, welcome to the Be Game Ready live stream as we figure out the tech like normal. What have we been doing this now for a year? We still have no idea what the heck we're doing. Anyhow, so we have begun using this live stream as an opportunity for us to create a react type video to various types of fitness. So last month, in the month of April, we took on types of strength training. We looked at the history of strength training, and we've really been focusing on what we're calling the pioneers of fitness. So these are people who really transformed the field of health and fitness in some way, shape, or form. And this month, we're focusing on people who did that with forms of cardiovascular exercise. And last week we looked at my personal hero, Richard Simmons. And this week we are going to take a crack at Lloyd Bud Winter, who was a pioneer in the world of sprinting. So competitive track and field. He is a huge contribution and relatively unknown outside of the world of track and field. So we're going to take the opportunity for this call or this live stream to showcase this man who has influenced running for all of us. And as a person who loves running, I'm very excited. Griselda was not so much, but she's game and she tried it. And yeah. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of history about him so we can learn a little bit about who he was and where he comes from, like methodologically. And we're going to actually take ourselves through one of his techniques. So he is the pioneer really of applying relaxation, the philosophy of relaxation to sprinting. And we both tried his relaxation technique and filmed ourselves running. And we're going to watch ourselves run and talk about the differences we noticed and what we gained from using this technique. So first off, a little bit about our man, Lloyd. So he was born in San Francisco, and he was the coach of the San Jose State University track and field team from 1941 to 1970. So in that time, during his tenure, he produced 27 track and field Olympians, 3 of whom won gold and many others won silver or bronze. And the current world record holder in sprinting, Usain Bolt. If you've never heard of him, go check him out. He's amazing, the fastest man alive. His coach, Glenn Mills, credits Bud Winter's techniques as shaping his personal philosophy as a coach and also contributing to his success as a sprinting coach specifically. So Bud Winter has had a huge impact on the world of sprinting, even to today. And he developed his relaxation techniques during World War II. So he was working with naval cadets. The Navy was concerned about the stress and fatigue of war impacting soldiers' performance in the field. So they enlisted Winter, who had a background in sports psychology, to work with the cadets during training to see if he could improve their performance. So this is really cool, Griselda, that I found this out. What he was initially focused on was training the cadets to fall asleep at will. So this technique that he developed was originally developed to help someone fall asleep at will, regardless of what was going on around them. That's where it originally began. So this also, it's kind of cool, like the side awesomeness of this whole thing is that this is a really great way to help you fall asleep if you have trouble falling asleep at night. So cool. Anyhow, so as he continued working with the cadets, though, he discovered that this relaxation technique combined with something he called positive self-suggestion was significantly improving their performance in every aspect of their training. So they saw increased performance in their sports games when they were playing sports, increased performance during exercises and trainings like plane identification, like identifying like between US and Japanese planes, like they were better during those simulations. And they also saw higher marks overall in their exam scores as opposed to the group that wasn't undergoing this technique practice. And then overall, all the cadets who were participating in the study reported feeling generally happier and less stressed. So there was like this sort of expanded result that he was seeing as he took these cadets through these practices and techniques. So when he left the military and accepted the job at San Jose State, he pretty much was like, okay, I'm just going to take what I was doing there and bring it here. And he began studying champion athletes, and he noticed that the highest performing athletes had something in common no matter the sport, which was this effortlessness in whatever they were doing. So he developed this theory that tension in the muscles slowed a runner down. So rather than trying to exert as much energy as possible and get tense up to run faster, his theory was that the key to speed was to relax as many muscles as possible and use fewer muscles to accomplish the same task. So efficiency of movement. And he trained his athletes using his methods. And these methods are designed to keep the athlete relaxed at all times, regardless of the situation. So a couple of his techniques or tactics was what he called loose hands, loose jaw. Put in 90% effort, so not 100%, which is counterintuitive to a lot of overachievers. Let nothing bother you, which I think is like the coolest one. And then mental set. So he had this whole thing about imprinting positive messaging about your performance and attitude. And he was like, his whole thing was not only doing this in sports, but actually applying this to life as well. So he called it imprinting positive messaging. So that would be like, I am going to run fast in this race, and just have that be, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to run faster. If you, the example that I saw was, if I'm going to go out on a date tomorrow, and on that date, I'm going to be interesting. And just really like putting yourself in that mindset that he said. So he also created the relaxation technique, which he took every athlete through before they ever ran or performed, before the warm up, they put themselves into the relaxation state of mind, which is what we're going to do after we watch the video. So we're going to watch a video. Is it of me first running without the relaxation technique? So I love running. I run frequently. It's my favorite form of cardiovascular exercise. And I am not a sprinter by any stretch of the imagination. Sprinting is not my favorite thing to do, and I'm not good at it. So I took on seeing if using the relaxation technique specifically applied to my sprinting ability and my experience of sprinting. So when we look at this video, actually, can you play it with sound, Criselda? Because I would love to be able to hear how heavy I run. You can actually hear how like plodding it is. And also paying attention, if you can see it, like pay attention to my face when I'm running. You will see the most like serious, like suffering expression.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Come on. There's an issue when I do this. There we go. Okay.
Okay. Listen to how heavy it is against my face. All business. Okay. Yeah. So could you see it? Like the expression on my face is like, and when I sprint, I can feel myself getting just like tense and high up in here. And I always like, that's the expression, like furrowed brow. This is serious. I'm sprinting. And you could hear it in my running. It was like, like really heavy pounding like into the pavement. And I don't like sprinting for that reason, because it's just, it always feels like really, really difficult to do.
That's really interesting because I have the opposite experience of sprinting. I feel light on my feet when I'm sprinting, but when I'm like doing zone 1 running, or when I try to, that's when I feel heavy.
Interesting. Really?
Uh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah. And by the way, we are 11 minutes in. Actually, I
Oh,
guess
are
it
we
doesn't
on the new
matter.
platform?
It doesn't matter because this platform, there's no time limit, but the other one, it had to be 20 minutes. Sorry, guys, we're figuring out the tech as we're doing this. Thanks for
So
being with us.
we have our unlimited time limit now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So before we watch the post relaxation, we're gonna actually do the relaxation. So is anybody watching us?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. This will just be for us.
Yeah.
So for anyone who does watch the recording of this, this is amazing as a technique to completely relax the body and focus the mind before doing anything really, but especially before any kind of physical exertion or exercise. So I'm going to invite you, Criselda, to close your eyes. And obviously I'm not going to close my eyes because I'm going to be walking us through the technique. But to anyone who's participating, close your eyes, sit on a chair, right back into the seat. You really want to find that balance point where the body's not exerting any effort to sit up. You can find that balance point in the pelvis and the spine where it's sitting quietly. Your legs are uncrossed. The feet are flat. The hands are on the inside of the thighs, just resting. Now you want to breathe slowly and exhale tension. So really beginning to exhale any tension that's there. And as you continue breathing, exhaling tension, relax the forehead. Relax the eyes. Relax the jaw. Let the mouth hang open. Relax the tongue. Relax the lips. Drop the shoulders. And relax each arm, one segment at a time. So relax the muscle of the upper arm. Relax the muscles in the forearm. Relax the hands. Relax the chest. Relax the rib cage. Let the midriff out. Feel the state of relaxation and associate it with the word calm. Check the face for tension that is reformed. And relax the face. Check the upper body for tensions that have reformed. Relax the upper body. Relax each leg, one segment at a time. Relax the thighs. Relax the quadriceps, the hamstrings. Relax the lower leg, calves. And relax the feet. Feel the state of relaxation and associate it with the word calm. Okay. How do you feel? You can come out of it and tell me how you feel now, Griselda. How do you feel?
Good. Yeah. I was telling India that when I did this, I was able to relax my upper body, but my low back, my hips, most of my lower body, that's the part of my body that is very challenging to relax because there's pain, there's tightness, and all of that in there. And I'll show you with my running video how that showed up. But yeah, my upper body feels very relaxed.
Yeah. I always feel a little high after I do this.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, cool. So this was the state that I was in when I did the second sprint.
Okay, so let me. You're like smiling. It's cute.
Yeah, you can pause it. Yeah. This right after doing the relaxation technique, I like couldn't stop smiling because when I was doing it, I also was thinking about mindset. And so I was like, I'm going to run fast. I'm going to run loose. And I'm going to love it. And it was like, he's so right. When I created that as like the intention, it happened. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like, wow. And I felt so loose. And I think you could hear it. I was running faster, but lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had the biggest, doofiest smile. I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great because when you see like these athletes who are, running like super fast, like they're just like their jaw is open and then like you could see even like the wind is just like blowing past their face versus like if it was tight, then the wind would just like bounce off, but the wind is like it goes right past their face.
Yeah, total relaxation. I find when I'm doing distance running, so I knew some of this philosophy, but obviously I didn't know the exact methodology, right? I hadn't looked into the methodology, but of course, as a distance runner, that's part of the I mean, it's just part of the technique that's taught to anyone running nowadays. Like if you're being coached in running technique or methodology or philosophy, there's going to be the relaxation element. It's just now part of like how we learn to run or how we teach people to run. So that's a practice when I'm doing a longer run. If I'm doing road running and I come up to a stop sign or a stoplight and I have to wait to go, immediately I'm there like shaking my arms out and I'm going to like just completely loosen like and the amazing thing is that always like resets. So it's like I'm starting fresh and I can continue running like longer distance.
Yeah.
So it totally like adds up in the field for sure. And it's so cool that he was doing this, like in the 1950s and 60s, teaching this, so that now it's just like permeated the culture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, let's watch your video now.
Yeah. So let's see. So I didn't have somebody filming me. I just put my phone on the ground of my
Oh,
neighborhood.
that's so smart. I had to like coordinate. I did spend a wonderful day in the park with my friend though. So
Yeah. No, it was great. It was great that you could like see the point where you like pass your friend. So I was just going for like zone 1 running, just like a little jog. I can see just from my movement, my hips are just very tight.
really tight.
My upper
Yeah,
body
yeah,
is
yeah.
fine, but my hips are just like crazy tight. There's not a lot of like twisting motion that's going on. It's because my hips are like locked, So I'm trying to keep my upper body as loose as I can, but my hips are the ones that are like locked. So I would say if you are somebody with like tight hips, low back pain, and depending on the severity of like your tight hips and back pain, this could work for you. You just have to do it more frequently, more often, and really try to loosen up those hips as much as possible.
How much do you warm up before you run?
I don't run, first of all. So
Right. Sorry. Yeah. When you do run.
Well, usually when I do run, it's like after I work out, after I do some lifting, so my body's already like loose, as loose as it can be. So that's what my warm up is for running. And part of what I do for working out is like I stretch a little bit, and all of the joints are as open as they can be.
Yeah, because that's the most important thing. If anyone's wanting to get into running, the preparation before running is the most important thing. That's what I like about it. The winter philosophy and methodology. It's like you do the relaxation technique first thing to kind of get you in the mindset, but then you do the warm up.
Yeah.
You do a lot of physical warming up. And that's something, especially with running, that people tend to skip over. It's like this weird impatience. And especially like you were saying, like if you're dealing with tension in the low back, tension in the hips, already having tightness in the chest and upper body, like any of that kind of stuff, if you just take the body straight into running, you're doing the body a greater disservice in the long run. Like it would be better if you just didn't run.
Exactly, which is why I don't run. Like these days, my cardio is like walking until I can open up these hips and loosen up my low back. Like running is not a good thing for me to do.
Yeah. And for anyone who's dealing with especially things going on with the low back, the best thing you can do is walking. Like walking is just above and beyond the best thing that you can be doing for that kind of
Yeah.
instability or tension that's happening in those areas.
Yeah. I was telling India earlier today that like I think I'm actually gonna try swimming. Swimming, not only because it'll uh lessen the tension in my low back and hips like while I'm in the water, but you know, like the experience of being like weightless in the water, I think is gonna be really good for my low back and my hips. But also, like what you were saying, retraining the muscles of the glutes and like the low back and even the legs to like move differently. I think that's going to be a really great form of cardio for myself. I would love to get into running, and right now, like the body, she's not able to do that. So
Yeah. I was actually thinking about swimming. That just reminded me. You will want to, I would practice different strokes, because some of the standard swimming strokes, if you don't have looseness in the hips, can lead to tighter tension in the back
right,
because of
yeah,
the nature, because you aren't actually weightless. Like it's helpful, but you're still having to support. And so it can still create tension on the low back.
yes,
So designing for or trying out for yourself, like which strokes, like are you going to do facing down, facing up, and then for how long you can do that before you start to feel fatigue in the musculature. Because I just
yeah,
remembered that. I was like, oh yeah, wait.
yeah. Yeah. That's the, I know we're kind of going off topic here, but I just remembered when I went to Puerto Rico and
Mhm.
like, you know, my boyfriend and I, like, we didn't have a whole lot to do in Puerto Rico except to go to the beach, right? Except to go to the beach and like go in the water. And I didn't think about this until now, but when I was in the water, swimming as far out as like we could, or like I didn't feel anything in my low back or my hips.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I wasn't even like doing any crazy like swimming, just you know your regular standard like what's it called,
Yeah.
freestyle stroke.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like even more
Yeah. It
excited to try
could
swimming now.
be. Yeah, it could be really, really great for you. It's always good. I mean, it's always with a caveat of like, depending on the body, depending on the thing that you are dealing with personally, right? That your body is actually dealing with. But to try different modalities to see like what does the body respond to. That's such an important uh, aspect of developing a health and fitness structure for yourself, because it really is like, hey, you have no idea. We don't know if swimming could be like the miracle thing for Criselda's body that like it makes and it could be the thing that makes it worse, but you won't know until you actually put the body into it and see how it responds and adapts. So it's really cool that you're going to try that
Yeah,
newly for yourself. I love it.
yeah,
But anyway, back to Bud.
yeah. Like we can get into like the criteria. I think you should be the one to rate this criteria since it actually like made a difference for you.
Mm. Well, so our typical criteria is interesting because this is like a philosophy and a methodology. So we usually talk about like difficulty level and fitness level and like what is this exercise, is this like what kind of person is this appropriate for and stuff. The philosophy is appropriate for anyone anywhere. I mean, and it can be applied to any sport. And the cool thing is the philosophy of relaxation is being applied to
Yeah,
many sports
yeah,
because they're consistently seeing that it makes a huge difference in performance, injury reduction or prevention, and recovery time as well. So there is a growing body of evidence to support the theory that a relaxed muscle performs better.
Yep.
That's like the takeaway essentially, is focus on relaxing the body inside of whatever exercise you're having it do. And the likelihood is you will see an increase in performance and a decrease in strenuousness, the feeling of fatigue, the feeling of overwork, all that kind of stuff. So, in general, I would say go for it. No matter what kind of exercise you're doing, no matter what level you're at, incorporate relaxation and see what it does. What would you say?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, even in the sports and the activities where you are required to like hold a position or like be in a fixed position,
Mhm.
you can still have tension in the muscle, but be relaxed. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm,
so
'cause I'm thinking of
it's
like,
a fine line because it's activation versus tension.
yeah,
And it's a fine line to explore, but there is an actual difference between muscle activation and muscle tension.
yeah,
And that's what he was talking about, is like training the body to utilize just the exact amount of muscular engagement and firing as is necessary to perform just that action, no more, no less.
yeah,
That's the thing that's really cool. It's like that level of specificity, because a lot of people, and this comes into the idea of like proper form and alignment. If the body is operating proper form and alignment, it's only going to be activating the muscles that are needed for that particular movement. But most of the time, people are operating, they're having the body do something out of alignment. So it's automatically recruiting muscles that aren't needed for that. And that increases the overall tension and stress on the body as it tries and attempts to do the move. So it's amazing how interconnected it all is, where it's like relaxation, specific activation, and alignment all come together to really have it be a body that can perform and perform well.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I really love it. I'm so glad we're doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, cardio, man. Cardio is the theme for the month of May. So we're going to be visiting the other pioneers of fitness who revolutionized some aspect or some exercise in cardio. So if you're interested in fun, interesting, valuable tools, valuable workouts, valuable videos, y'all should come back next Tuesday and all of the Tuesdays in May. We're going to continue to do this. What are we doing next week, India?
I think we're going to just do some jazzercise, because a lot of people
Jazzercise.
know that word, but don't actually know what original jazzercise was
Yeah,
and the influence it's had on modern cardio and especially aerobic techniques.
yeah, yeah. Great. Great. So if you all want to get your jazzercise on, get your sweatbands, get your wristbands, get your high shorts, spandex,
Spandex.
colored spandex. Know what I mean? Should
Heck
come
yeah.
next Tuesday for some jazzercise.
I'm down. I'll be there.
Yes. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you had a great time. I will put it's an accompanying YouTube video that kind of like talks about the impact relaxation has on like runners and even sports like boxing. So I'll put that in the chat, and then I will put a short version of the relaxation technique that India did. I'll also put that in the chat, and let us know. Let us know if you're going to come next Tuesday. We'd love to have somebody be on the live stream with us, or even just like giving us a shout out when you enter the chat room. That would be great.
Okay. I love it.
Bye, everyone.